Welcome to the First and 30 podcast. This is episode 66. Before we hop into it, though, Antonino, tell the chain movement what we're all about again.
We are two 30-something-year-old guys giving you 4 gangrene downs in 30 jet life minutes of NFL football insight to get you through the offseason.
That's right, and there's a lot of focus on the Jets. Why is that, Antonino? Who is here with us today? We're just, bringing on all the special guests now. Who is this gentleman?
That's right. Today we have a very special guest with us, a prolific digital creator that I've been a fan of for quite some time. The rumor is he does, in fact, bleed green. Yes, that's correct. He bleeds green. He's one of the biggest and most plugged in Jets fans on this floating rock we call Earth. We have Brent from Take Flight Today, co-host of the Jet Set podcast. Welcome in, Brent. Good to have you.
Hey, appreciate y'all having me on, man. I was excited to get up here and talk football with you guys, especially some New York Jets. So, yeah, man, I'm pumped up. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
This is awesome, Brent. I'm happy you agreed to do this with us. As Antonino knows, and folks, a part of the chain movement, it's well documented. I hate on the Jets, so I appreciate you coming into this atmosphere and in this environment to talk about the Jets. And we'll go easy on you today with it, but yep, Take Flight Today is the Instagram, the Jet Set podcast. It's all good stuff. So this is the man that has the plugins here. So, Brent, I think we're going to kick things off. We do it in a 4-down format. We're going to start off with first down. And the Jets, as always, are busy. They've been busy this offseason. There was 2 massive contracts that just occurred, re-signings with Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. So that's been in the news here recently. But we also have just all this movement with the quarterback position. So I really just want to know, Brent, what's the outlook on this offseason? What's the vibe in Gangrene Land and with the Jets fans on what they've been doing?
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, those 2 contract extensions is kind of a new ground for us because we don't usually get to a point where we can retain our key young guys or they show us something that makes us want to bring them back or sign them to a long-term deal. So this particular offseason, I feel like every few off seasons, it feels different because you always have a different coach, different this, different that. But this one feels different because not just because of the coaches, but because of the trust and commitment we have to our young guys, and Sauce and Garrett, being in this position, it's easy for young players to, get frustrated and want to leave, but them committing to us as much as we're committing to them, it just feels different. And then we have Aaron Glenn, former Jet, head coach now of the Jets. Is just
full circle.
Yeah. It just feels like a full circle moment with everything. So it's very exciting. It feels different, but it is a Jets. So we have to kind of take it with a grain of salt and just kind of wait and see. But definitely excited for my guys, Sauce and Garrett, for sure.
Hey, come on. Let's not sugarcoat this thing. The vibes are high in the Meadowlands. I saw that brand new locker room, state-of-the-art TVs everywhere. It's different. This is different, Nick, here.
Okay. So let's humor me here, guys. Brian, I want to run through some of the notable free agent moves that the Jets have done. So They basically did some quarterback swapping, right? They pick up Justin Fields, ditch Aaron Rodgers. I want to get into that a little bit more later. But they lose Devontae Adams, right? Tyler Conklin, gone. Morgan Moses, gone. Tyron Smith, too, retires. Hassan Reddick, C.J. Mosley, D.J. Reed. These are all really big names. And how have they reloaded? But they bring on Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds at wide receiver, Chris Boyd, a special teams guy, Josh Myers, Brandon Stevens, and they draft a few dudes. So with all this movement and shuffling, realistically, how are we feeling about what the product is on the field currently? It's great that they're bringing Sauce back and bringing Garrett back, but that's a lot of movement right there.
Yeah. And, like you said, we did lose a lot of big names, right? A lot of big names, but we did, again, retain some key young pieces. Jamie Sherwood, one of our top linebackers, he is back on the team. Him and Quincy are those leaders of the defense. When CJ Mosley was here, he kind of coached them up, and now it's kind of like the Master Splinter, Ninja Turtle kind of handoff, with them. So I'm excited to see them kind of take over. It's a very young team. I think we're like the I want to say top 3 youngest teams in the league right now. So yeah, a lot of those guys that left, they were older. So it's a younger movement going on, and especially at the quarterback position, because Justin Fields, I feel like he's a guy, man. We haven't had a quarterback like him in I can't even remember, a mobile young quarterback, kind of bouncing around the league. And I was mentioning it to y'all. He reminds me of that Baker, Sam, Jared Goff arc. If he can come in here and kind of give us that same energy, and him and Garrett played in college together. We see that college connection happening, in the league, no matter what, and everybody else looks like. Bengals, my guy knows about it. The Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow connection.
Okay. So you're hoping a little bit of that influence.
Yeah, that's what Jet fans are trying to, I guess are holding on hope for. So, I mean, we definitely got younger, but I like the young vibes, man. Like let the young boys kind of get to it, man. I love it.
I like this right here. I know he knows what he's talking about, because when Nick listed all those names, that was a bunch of dinosaurs right there, a bunch of old heads. Out with the old, in with the new. I'm going to miss CJ Mosley. He's my man. I'm going to miss him. But this is a good refresher. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's this transition too, maybe that we can anticipate. It's a new coaching staff, a lot of young new players. So with that, I mean, maybe it's realistic to expect there to be some like growing pains, right? There's going to be, are we looking at this as a rebuild situation right now? Is this feeling like a rebuild yet again? Or is this like, okay, we're retooling and we're reloading? How is that impression?
Yeah, I honestly, because I've been a part of a lot of rebuilds. All right. And the rebuilds usually start in the draft, and they, with the drafting the quarterback and things like that. This is more of a restart, right? This is more of a restart. Us adding a vet quarterback around the already, kind of young vets we have on the team. Zach Wilson, that was a rebuild, right? That whole situation was a rebuild.
Yeah.
And again, it's crazy because I wanted Justin Fields that draft, and we have him now, so it's like I guess it's all good, but I wouldn't look at it as a rebuild right now, man, because the guys on the team, man, they've been in the league for a good 3-4 years and more. So we have the leaders that are on the team, and Aaron Glenn, I feel like he's the guy that kind of pulled this thing together. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You vibing with that too, Antonino? Like that sentiment that this is a restart, a fresh start. We're not rebuilding this thing. We're just, bringing some new pieces, and we're going to win more than 5 games this year.
I'm used to restarts. You remember when I was a kid, I played N64, and when I wanted to restart, I used to just turn that thing off and go throw it back in there, and that's a restart, trying to get back to where you're trying to get to go faster, So I like it. It's a restart, not a rebuild. I'm with it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have some higher expectations. This isn't a retooling. I mean, you mentioned too, just around this coaching staff, and I want to touch on this really quickly too. Aaron Glenn comes in as the head coach. One of these full circle moments, as you alluded to, a former player. He was the D coordinator over at Detroit. We saw his defense kind of fall apart in the playoffs, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of injuries on that defensive side for Detroit. Yeah. Offensive coordinator Tanner Engerstrand and D coordinator Steve Wilks. We've seen success with Wilks in San Fran. So just real quick, what are you feeling about with this coaching staff? I mean, there was high hopes with Saleh. That didn't pan out, but more higher expectations, it seems like, with Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, no, for sure. I trust, so I put it like this. I trust Aaron Glenn with, the relationships he has with, these people that he brought on. Steve Wilks, he's a known, commendable defensive coordinator in the league. He's proven to us that he can take on a defense and make them elite. With Tanner Engstrand, Aaron Glenn was literally just in the same locker room as him. So it's a lot of, familiarity there. So I trust, the pieces he's put together, and the other people he's brought on, Chris Banjo, former player, special teams coach.
Yeah.
He's somebody that, I feel like a lot of players are going to kind of gravitate towards. So when I look at this staff, I see a player staff. I don't see an X and O's type of staff. It's a very player friendly staff, and for a young team, I think that's what you need.
Yeah, it's kind of giving me that Detroit vibe. Maybe you're bringing that Detroit culture from Dan Campbell. Hope to have that hard ass mentality, but we care for the player too, like type of deal. So that can really reinvigorate a locker room and a culture. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit made it look easy all last year. You get the passing game coordinator; they're throwing all over the yard. So I mean, that can only be good things, right?
Right.
One would think. Okay, all right, Brent. I want us to hop into second down now and maybe make this a little bit more forward focused, and also just kind of reflecting on this QB situation. We've heard it before, man. The story that we've always heard: the Jets have a new QB, and there's always excitement when the Jets get a new QB because things seem to fizzle out really quick when a guy's in there. So it's like, we need a fresh face. So I am curious, what's the sentiment on Aaron Rodgers and his legacy now that he's officially out the door? I mean, it's a tumultuous up and down roller coaster that you as a Jets fan probably had to experience from first snap, three plays in, torn Achilles, walking out with the American flag. High expectations last season. They were over under 9.5 games. Didn't even sniff close to that with this Rodgers team. So talk me through that legacy real quick.
Yeah. Man, bringing up that American flag in. I just got PTSD a little bit.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Like, what legacy?
It's okay. That game was so emotional, man. I was like, I remember I was watching it with somebody. They're like, "Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers will come back." I said, "No, he's done." But I'm glad he was able to at least come back and play most of the games last year. Yeah. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's like, okay, it's cool to have Aaron Rodgers on your team, but then we got Devontae Adams. We tried to put our best foot forward. It just didn't work out. But as far as Aaron Rodgers' legacy, I guess he still finished top 12 in the league. It's not like he was this is the worst season of ever, but I guess it was cool to see Aaron Rodgers in his Jets jersey, just like it was cool to see Brent Favre in the Jets jersey in 2009. It's same vibes. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's clearly I wish you won more games, but it's. I hope this last season for him is amazing outside of week 1. And he just kind of, this kind of ends it on a okay or to good note. But, I'm forward thinking. I'm thinking about this young vet we got, Justin Fields, man. He's a dog and he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder, man. That's what I want.
What do you think about Fields, Antonino?
I have been riding this horse all off season that I'm on the bandwagon. Justin Fields, the guy's only 26 years old. He was stuck in like purgatory with the Bears. Like, he's got to just be put in the right system. And not only that, at Pittsburgh, he started the year off strong. It was not his fault that he got benched when Russell Wilson got healthy again. No fault of his own. So the guy has the talent, and now the table's set. He has all the right coaches. He's young. I think this is it. All those fantasy owners out there, listen up. I know, Nick, you're all about fantasy. I hope you're listening. Justin Fields, big year.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. I don't mean to pivot too much here either, but Brent, I did want to pick your brain. There was some rumors, I think shortly after the season ended too, around Woody Johnson's son, Brick Johnson, having kind of like an influence into the GM, the Jets' decision-making. Joe Douglas, I think, even came out saying he was answering to a teenager. Now, we don't know for sure if he was pointing that at Brick Johnson or just, being facetious and calling Woody Johnson a teenager. But what's kind of the reality and the truth to this? I mean, I know you're so plugged into the Jets stuff. Was there actually some validity of truth to Brick Johnson influencing roster moves?
Honestly, when Joe Douglas said he was an interested teenager, I totally believed him because Because I feel like, Woody had his son in there a lot. He had his son in the room a lot, and when multiple coaches come out and say these things, it's very, it's hard not to believe here, right? And there was also rumors about Woody Johnson, you know, making roster moves based on Madden ratings as well, and it's like when you hear that stuff, it's like, wow, like it's no way that's true. But when you look at how the season kind of played out and how decisions were being made, rash decisions at that, it's like, I actually believe that, this stuff is going on. And, I, I know some people in New York that actually, some younger guys that were friends of Brick Johnson, and
Oh,
they definitely they definitely could attest that, Brick, was in Woody's ear
no way.
saying, I'm dead serious. And like when I heard it, I was like, oh, like it's no way that this is true. But Woody, you see him on the sideline with the sauce chain, like he wants to be trendy and things like
Yeah.
that. But I think when all that came out, that was kind of a ego shock to him. So hopefully that gut punch kind of makes him kind of reel back and things like that. And I mean, you see with the locker room, he's trying to get that owner grade back up from an F to at least a C minus, I guess. So yeah,
Hey, that's improvement. You have to make
it's
small
improvement.
improvements, incremental, right?
Yeah. But yeah,
Wow. Did you even
yeah,
know about that, Antonio, too? I know you're all over the Twitter sphere,
Yeah,
too, so it was like shocking just to hear like the possibility that an owner's son was having that kind of sway and influence.
hey, sometimes it works, but that's mainly in video games. That's kind of crazy. I don't know.
yeah.
I know. I think my brother-in-law, he probably would construct a roster similarly. Like, let's trade for Devontae Adams and let's go ahead and pull an Alan Lazard and all of these older pieces and build up this Packers 2.0 roster around Rodgers. But all right, Brent, I want to know, man, we've talked about the offseason. We've highlighted some of the players, like this quarterback swap thing happening. This Brick Johnson thing is hopefully in the past, so the culture is changing. Now, Vegas has the Jets at over under 5.5 wins this season. Give me your bold, realistic take. What is the ceiling for the Jets? And where do you realistically think they're going to land this year?
Yeah. So I remember when, a couple of years ago when that line was like 9.5 over under, and I smashed that over, and I was like, you know what, it's no way I'm taking the over again. But 5.5 is that's just a little, that's way too low for, in my opinion, for a team that nobody has seen play together yet, right? Maybe if you had the same team, Aaron Rodgers is back, then it would be like, okay, 5.5, you can kind of play with that. But Justin Fields was 4-2 last year as a starting quarterback with not as much weapons as he has now, in my opinion. Not as good of an O-line as he has now. So yeah, 5.5, I'm smashing that over easily.
Really? So where do
Yeah.
you think? Give me a prediction here. How many wins?
Yeah. So my ceiling for this season, honestly, the highest we can get to out of a good off season, good, we finished games, and our offensive coordinator he's drawing up things. He learned things from Ben Johnson, and he brings it over. I'm gonna say 10-7.
Whoa.
And then have it.
Okay.
I mean, I took a sneak peek at this schedule before we got on. I saw 8 wins. I saw 8 wins that could easily go up. The Dolphins are gonna have a down year. I'm calling that right now. It's wide open.
sure.
The Jets are
sure.
here. Yes, sir.
For sure. And I only say 10 because I don't know. I feel like they can shock the league this year, because again, everybody's doubting them, and I love being in this position because when we had Aaron Rodgers, everybody put us on this pedestal, and I just knew that we were gonna not reach those heights. But now being in this, doubting position, it's easier for me to feel more comfortable and to kind of be a little more confident. So 10-7, especially if we start off with that week 1 win, that's gonna set the pace.
There's nothing like being an underdog. That's the place you want to be. You're back to the wall. Let's go. You got nothing to lose. This house money all year.
Yep.
Like anything, this could go one of two ways, right? Justin Fields comes in, he plays lights out, plays up to the expectations, or Justin Fields goes in, the Jets don't incubate a good system around him. They try to force him to do stuff, and they flounder completely and have to look for us. Oh, man. But, hey, Brent, I'm hoping they hit that 10 win for you, for all the Jets fans out there. It's been a long time coming, right? We're thinking back to the Joe Namath days before the Jets. You could throw Pennington in there as the last real great Jets quarterback, maybe Fitzpatrick, if you want to count that one season where he kind of lit it up and, threw it to Brandon Marshall. But, we're rooting for you over here at 1st and 30.
Yes.
Before we head into halftime, any last plugs? Where can the chain movement find you at if they want their Jets content?
Yeah. So you can find me at on Instagram at takeflight_today, TikTok at the Jet Set, and I just post good content. I try to make my own graphics, my own highlight videos and things like that. I just love doing it. I love the Jets. Like Antino said, I bleed green.
Hey, all the content's top notch. The guy knows his stuff. Big brain. I appreciate having you all, man. Let's get it. JETS. Jets. Let's go.
We need that, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
There it is. Hey, Brent, we appreciate it. We're going to have you come back on here maybe when the season kicks off, get your takes on how things are kind of playing out. But we're going to head into our half-minute halftime here. We'll see Brent later on, hopefully, in the regular season. But, Antonino, why don't you go ahead and kick us off into the locker room?
Yes, sir. The vibes are high in the Meadowlands, and they're high on the 1st and 30 podcast. Everyone, hit up Take Flight today, right now, on Instagram, YouTube. Hit it right now. Go follow my man. We're going to keep it going all year long.
That's right. Go follow Take Flight and follow 1st and 30 if you're enjoying the content. Like and subscribe on our channels as well. Antonino, we're getting out of the locker room here. We're going to head into 3rd down. And training camp officially began, today, I believe, as we're recording this. So players are reporting to camp. Some aren't reporting to camp. I know you have a pulse on all of this. You're on Twitter. You're on that Twitter sphere. So why don't we just go through and highlight what's some of this news? What's happening? What should your team be looking out for if you're a fan? I'll check, toss it over to you here.
There is so much drama in the NFL right now. My thumbs have been refreshing X nonstop. And Nick, we have some no-shows and we have some hold-ins. We have it all. First, I'm going to start with Scary Terry McLaurin, Commanders wide receiver. He's not showing up. He still wants a new contract.
Yeah. We kind of anticipated this. I think there had been already some communication coming out ahead of training camp that McLaurin wasn't going to come unless he got this contract. He had the best season of his career, so it makes sense. Guys are, when they outplay their previous contract, as we see with Trey Hendrickson and others, they come in and they have to hit while the iron's hot, basically, right?
And the iron is hot. You see some of these receivers getting these deals. Garrett Wilson, for one, getting paid more than A.J. Brown of the Eagles. Everyone's getting paid, and I think he wants some of that dough as well. So let's see how long that hold out takes. But as far as hold in goes, Micah Parsons, he's talking to all these reporters. He's at camp. He showed up. He's in uniform. He's just not doing anything too strenuous. He's not participating in the physically exhausting drills yet.
That makes sense, though. He's one of your best players. No sense of getting hurt potentially. Jerry Jones is probably going to let this ride out all the way up to the start of kickoff, like we saw with Dak, like we saw with CeeDee Lamb. I even heard some news conference of him just the other day where he basically blasted Trayvon Diggs and Terrence Steele, two guys that are currently on the roster, for prematurely giving them that money, basically just saying, well, we saw how that played out. It wasn't a great deal, right?
So yeah. He stressed the point that giving out big deals doesn't exactly mean you'll get the production. Injuries do happen. So let the drama start in Dallas. Day one of training camp. I'm not surprised. We move over to another holdout, Trey Hendrickson. He left town. The Bengals offered him 2 updated deals in the last 24 hours. He still wants more guaranteed money in that second year. Shamar Stewart, still a no-show. That's more on his agent side. New reports coming out. The agent wants him to get guaranteed money, even if he's in jail. So rumors coming out there that the agent is a clown, which I would agree with.
Oh, you're happy to be reporting this stuff, aren't you?
Yes.
You're shifting the narrative subtly that this isn't a Bengals problem. This is a player problem and an agent problem.
It's got to start somewhere. Might as well start right here. The Packers. There's news out of Green Bay. The Packers now have 13 receivers in camp. They just signed Will Shepard, their wide receiver from Colorado. He was catching passes from Shador. Now he's going to be catching passes from Jordan Love. Let's see if he can break the roster. Along with that, the Packers unveiled a new locker room. I'm telling you, all the news today, all the media heads are on the ground like piranha with their cameras and microphones. Packers have a state-of-the-art locker room they just unveiled, so a lot of good news out of Green Bay right now.
Oh, okay. So the Packers are overloaded at wide receiver. They have new digs there. So anything else to report on here, Anthony? I know you're right there. You're on the scene of the crime, so to speak. You've been bouncing around state to state just to get these updates.
Man, I'll go rapid fire here. The Buffalo Bills are bringing back their red helmets from back in the day.
Oh, that's cool. I like.
Yes, they're going to wear it a couple times this year. Good. Last game of the season will be the last game at Highmark Stadium. They will wear those red helmets for week 8.
The throwback. Okay. Very cool.
The Saints have alternate jerseys with a gold-ish tint. They're supposed to be gold. They're gold-ish, so the Saints have new alternate jerseys. Okay. The Patriots wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, tore his ACL last October, fully cleared for training camp. So Stephon Diggs making a comeback. Okay. And last but not least, Quentin Johnston, receiver for the Chargers, LA Chargers. Folks, he's still dropping passes. He's doing easy routes and dropping passes. 10-yard hitch, dropping passes. He's still trying to figure it out. So fantasy owners, again, I hope you're listening in. Quentin Johnston dropping passes.
Yeah, that's problematic when you get paid to literally catch footballs and you can't do that. All right, man. So training camp kicked off. To us, that is a strong sign. That is the most close to realistic thing that we're going to get to football season actually starting. So we're going to get in full swing. But before the season starts, while all of this was kind of like settling out, I do want to kick us into fourth down because things are still heating up, man, with this NFLPA news. I don't know if you've been keeping tabs on it, but Pablo Torre, he has a podcast series. He's been reporting a lot on this, and good investigative journalism has created these accountability positions that we're seeing. So the NFLPA executive director, Lloyd Howell, he resigned just a couple days ago. And JC Tretter, who is the NFLPA chief officer, he also just resigned in response to these reports. Have you been seeing this or following this, man?
I saw an article you sent me about a guy getting a service car and going to the strip club and blowing $800 on Union Dime. Fill me in.
Yeah, so basically, Lloyd Howell, who's now the former disgraced, I would say, executive director of the NFLPA, was basically charging union expenses for a strip club. So there was 2 reports here, one in which he spent $738 for car service that took him from the airport to a strip club in Miami. The strip club was called Tootsie's Cabaret. It's a 76,000 square foot venue that basically positions itself as full nude, #1 rated strip club. in the country. So great for him that he went there. But then he also did this in Atlanta, Georgia, with 2 union employees. He visited a strip club, and this is hilarious, man. It was on February 21st this year. He was accompanied by an employee. They went to Magic City Strip Club for an outing that incurred a $2,426 charges with cash withdrawals. I wonder what they were doing with all that cash. It was ranging between $200 to $525 from a strip club ATM, and they used it for 2 VIP rooms. And this was according to an expense report that the purpose of those expenses were for, quote, player engagement event to support and grow the union.
This sounds totally legit, Nick. This totally legit. Work-related expenses all the way.
Well, I mean, this is insane stuff because the crux of all of this, Antonino, was that Lloyd Howe was charged for a lawsuit for sexual discrimination when he was working at Booz Allen back in 2013. And J.C. Treader, during the whole interview process when they were vetting the next executive director, was keeping everything hush hush. Like, media wasn't involved. No one really knew who was going to be elected as the next, executive director for the NFLPA. So that's where the reporting was really coming out, that there was some kind of conflicts of interest because Treader, who at the time was the NFL player president, PA player president in 2023, was on his way out of that position. So by hiring Howe then created this made-up position called the chief officer, which he then hired J.C. Treader to join on. So are you seeing how there's this connection of dots where it's like, hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, I get you this position, you get me my position type of deal? That's kind of what's being insinuated.
Where are the checks and balances here? How does this go under the radar for so long? It just stinks of corruption. And isn't this federal-backed money? I thought it was explaining to me. This is so wrong on so many levels.
Union, very strictly regulated funds, and they're using it for strip clubs and whatever. The last thing I'm going to say on this, and I want to get your reaction, J.C. Treader, who now is the ex-NFLPA chief officer, was on a podcast. I think it was back in 2023. And he was sued by the NFL for comments that suggested that running backs who were unhappy with their contracts could fake injuries, which is a violation of the collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and NFLPA. So I just want to know, what would your response be to that? He basically was like, wink, wink, I'm not going to tell them to do that, but they should do that.
I leave nothing out of the question. Now, we've covered so much. That's some great investigative research where I leave nothing out of the realm of possibility. I want to thank Pablo Torres for kicking this off. Nick, there's some great research. And yes, there's some filthy things going out there, but you better believe we're down to the bottom of it.
That's right.
Heads will roll.
Head will roll. All right, man. Well, that I think just about does it for our 4 downs. So let's hop into the 2-minute drill and cover the latest news.
That's right. The Kansas City Chiefs and 2022 first-round pick, defensive end George Karlaftis, reached an agreement on an extension worth 4 years, $93 million with $62 guaranteed.
Free agent safety Jamal Adams is signing with the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Packers and right tackle Zach Tom have agreed to a 4-year, $88 million extension.
So former Colts and Bills running back Nyheim Hines, who hasn't played in the NFL for 2 seasons due to a knee injury, has actually signed with the Chargers in their very crowded backfield, so wishing him the best to make that roster.
Our favorite quarterback meme, Titans quarterback Will Levis, will undergo season-ending right shoulder surgery and now paves the way for Cam Ward as QB1 in Tennessee.
All-pro player Ndamukong Suh and Tyrann Mathieu announced their retirement from the NFL recently. Tyrann Mathieu just as early as today, I believe, the start of training camp.
Another great player that's retired, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, Phillip Rivers, has officially retired as a San Diego Charger. Yeah, I said it, San Diego Charger on a 1-day contract.
I didn't realize he wasn't retired. What? Free agent edge rusher Von Miller is signing with the Commanders, boosting up that defensive pass rush.
One defensive end that got paid, TJ Watt, signs a mega extension, 3 years, $123 million added on. Average salary $41 million, $108 million fully guaranteed.
And the Kansas City Chiefs will release an 6-episode ESPN original series called The Kingdom, documenting the franchise's storied history and remarkable journey. It premieres August 14th if you're interested, Antonino.
No one, and I hope no one will watch that, and I know I won't be watching that. But last but not least, the Cincinnati Bengals have signed a quarterback. Suspense. Not. Former Cincinnati Bearcat Desmond Ridder is now playing for the Cincinnati Bengals as the third quarterback.
Wonderful. Spectacular. You better hope he never sees the field.
Yes.
Otherwise, that means your season's probably over with.
I agree with you there, but for training camp, it's fine. And with that being said, training camp is here. The journey for all 32 teams starts now. Let's go. Thank you for Brent for coming on the show today. Watch out, AFC East. The Jets are back. You know the drill. We'll see you on the next one. The next one is the best one.
That's right. Thank you for joining us for another episode of First and 30. Until next time, remember, when your number's called, no matter the odds,
let's go for it.